The U.S. conducting another round of strikes on Iran, with U.S. Central Command writing on X, quote, CENTCOM forces struck Iranian military air defense systems, coastal radar sites, missile and drone capabilities, and small boats using U.S. fighter aircraft, naval vessels, one-way attack aerial drones, and one-way attack sea drones for the first time. The Strait of Hormuz is a vital maritime corridor for global trade. Iran does not control it. The strikes follow new satellite images reportedly showing Iran may be working to rebuild their nuclear sites, despite strong warnings from President Trump. Fox News contributor and former CIA station chief Dan Hoffman joins me now. Dan, good morning to you. And this satellite imagery shows signs the Iranian regime is rebuilding its suspected nuclear sites at Pickaxe Mountain and Parchin, which intel agencies have long suspected of housing nuclear enrichment activities deep underground. So the good news is that we know about this. The bad news is obvious. What do you make of these satellite images and what this it dictates or indicates to us about Iran's desire to rebuild its nuclear facilities?
Yeah, look, the satellite imagery is disturbing. It's only one piece of our intelligence collection. We also rely on our human sources and SIGINT collection, that's communications between Iranian officials as well. And so I'm sure that President Trump is receiving a detailed picture about the extent to which Iran is seeking to rearm and reconstitute their nuclear program. That's why they're fighting. That's why the Strait of Hormuz is a flashpoint. Iran isn't just fighting to disrupt global trade in the Strait of Hormuz. They're doing it to protect their nuclear program, and they also want to protect their proxy terrorists like Hezbollah. They see an opportunity, they think, to reduce or eliminate U.S. influence in the region, and that would allow them to dominate the Gulf states. Their goal is to destroy Israel. And obviously, they want to attack the United States in doing so.
So when it comes to the Strait, two senior Iranian sources told Reuters on July 8th that they consider its control of the Strait to be important leverage and that giving up such control would be tantamount to surrender. So they're not giving up the Strait of Hormuz. What should our next move be?
They're not giving up the Strait and fighting for the Iran Revolutionary Guard Corps, which is really in charge of this hardcore regime. It's the oxygen on which they rely, really, to stay in power. Negotiations have led nowhere, and President Trump acknowledged that during his most recent comments over the weekend. The United States really needs to achieve escalation dominance. We need to open the Strait on our own and keep it open independently. There's some questions about whether there might be two routes, whether the Iranians would seek to have a route on their side of the border and maybe there would be an open route in Oman. I'm not so sure that that would solve the challenge that we face, however. And again, Iran is using asymmetric warfare. They're using their drones and what's left of their missile capability to disrupt trade, and we've got to put a stop to that.
So Axios, Stan, has this piece about how Senator Lindsey Graham spent his final weeks working on this ambitious push for Saudi Arabia to normalize relations with Israel. What are the chances that that ultimately happens? And if it does, how does that undercut Iran?
Well, I think the chances are less, frankly, now that Senator Graham is no longer with us. He was such a sage voice on foreign policy, whether in the Middle East or in Ukraine. We'll miss his extraordinary impact on our national security. Mohammed bin Salman has made it pretty clear that there needs to be movement on a Palestinian state before Israel and Saudi Arabia establish diplomatic relations. And so I think there is the challenge. Iran knows that, which is why they supported Hamas and why Hamas has refused to disarm, even though that was supposed to be the first and next step towards achieving some peace in Gaza.
Dan, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We very much appreciate your time, as always.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.